Let's talk about virtual meetings. Personally, I attend a ton of virtual meetings, far more than in-person meetings. First of all, it's very, very convenient. I can stack meetings after meetings, and like, how fun is that, right? I'm just kidding. But really, it helps me be more productive and accessible to the people that I work with and collaborate with. So any committees, task forces, and boards that I'm on, meetings help people who are all over the place get together much more quickly than if we had to be in person. And then also my team is entirely remote, and most of my clients are entirely remote from me. They're all over the country, and oh my gosh, we would never get anything done if we had to meet in person. And just a few years ago, most of our meetings were in person. At least that's how it was for me. And for a good reason. We had a good reason for being in person, but luckily we can do so much more now that we've embraced virtual meetings. However, there's an etiquette that still has to come with virtual meetings because they are still meetings. So of course, just like in-person meetings, you have to behave in a professional manner. So there are a couple of things that I've learned as I've navigated this whole virtual meeting transition. First and foremost, we've got to deal with like cameras and background noise, right? Like that's the obvious, is picking your location wisely. And even if you're from home, paying attention to your background, because that's representing who you are. And in internal meetings, they can be a little bit more casual. There's more leeway, but certainly if you're wanting to represent yourself professionally in front of that audience, then make sure that you're dressed professionally and your background is reflecting something that's professional. And thank goodness for virtual backgrounds, because I know I've been in places where I'm like, yikes. But virtual backgrounds sort of cover that up for me, which is a huge relief. But I'll tell you, there's been a couple of game changers with my team that I've noticed. So we've started using the hand raising feature, which I'm pretty sure is available in all meeting platforms or virtual meeting platforms. And we've also used, obviously, mute when you're not talking. And we've used the chat quite a bit. And we actually have a chat monitor who's looking and seeing, okay, are we talking about this comment? People are liking comments and questions, and we can have side conversations in a way where there's a main conversation happening. It's really good when someone is sort of like on a monologue or a sandbox, right? They're making a really good point, but there are other people who want to either interject or ask questions, or maybe they're an internal processor instead of a verbal processor. So we ask them to use the chat. And then of course there's someone who's reading through that to make sure we're addressing all those comments. And the hand raising feature, my goodness, like we can actually take turns speaking. And it sounds juvenile when I say it that way, but I'll tell y'all, it makes a huge difference in how we are organized and the way that we are utilizing our time. So the facilitator, of course, they have a question or they bring up the next topic and it's open to the floor. Well, when someone raises their hand, now they have like a turn in the queue. And so someone's monitoring that too. Maybe it's the facilitator, and people are getting called on one by one by one. And so it's no longer like this free for all, like who's the loudest speaker, like who's the loudest voice in the room. It's like, okay, you are next, what do you have to say? We're all listening, and you don't have to worry about getting interrupted or someone just arguing with you like right in the middle of your point, or piling on right as you're making that point. I'm telling you, it takes a while to get used to, but the hand raising makes a big difference, and so does the chat. So I wanted to share just a couple of my virtual meeting etiquette rules and revelations with you. I'm sure you have more to add, and I would love to see your colorful comments down below. So thank you for that. Thanks, y'all.